What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here, Macho Wrestling 101. Hit like and subscribe if you like my content. I'm doing the Monday Night Wars again. This is WCW side of Week 19 of the War, January 22nd, 1996. The 21st episode of Nitro, but the 19th week that Raw and Nitro were both on the same night. 1 week ago, Nitro drew its highest rating ever with a 3.5. They defeated Raw by 1.1 as Raw had a 2.5 rating, a 2.4 rating to Nitro's 3.5. This week, Nitro drew a 2.7, and McMahon's Raw drew a 2.9. So Raw beat Nitro the following week, which is the week I'm reviewing right now. So through 19 weeks, Nitro now has 8 wins to WWF's 9, and then 2 draws. So they're 8, 9, and 2 versus the WWF after this 19th week. So this is week 19 of the Wars. This is the Nitro that drew a 2.7 and lost by 0.2 to the WWF. As mentioned, it was commentated by Steve McMichael, Eric Bischoff, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And Bischoff opened the show talking about everything that's been happening lately. He said that we're going to have a world title match tonight and a tag title match as well. And we're going to kick it off from Las Vegas, Nevada's Caesars Palace live on TNT. Randy Savage comes out with an entourage of women to take on Ric Flair, the World Heavyweight Champion, the 12-time champion, with Jimmy Hart for the world title. The entourage of ladies walk out first instead of Savage, and among them are Linda Hogan, who looks really young, a bunch of other ladies, and then woman Nancy Sullivan, a.k.a. Nancy Benoit. Macho Man gets his shot at who used to be Flair's manager at one point. So this was to rub Flair the wrong way. Macho Man gets his shot at the second world title against the 12-time champ. Flair then grabs woman on the outside and starts, doing his woo and starts to like grope her almost, and she slaps him. Savage gets it going with Flair on the outside right away. Flair Irish whips Macho Man into the barricade. Flair clothesline by Savage, a front face lock. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship to kick off Nitro at Caesars Palace. He's Irish whipped into the turnbuckle. Flair then with Savage outside the ring. He chops the Macho Man, and then the Macho Man hit a back body drop to Flair, and he landed on his kidneys first on the outside concrete floor. Back inside the ring, Savage take it to Flair with 10 punches. This has gone back and forth, and then they go outside to the guardrail once again and then come right back in. They went outside to the inside a few different times. Flair flops to his face on the mat after Savage dished out a bunch of right hands. Savage curls the arms and gets a backslide attempt, but Flair kicks out. Flair chops Macho Man and then drops one leg on him and then attacks the one leg, I should say, and sets up for the figure 4. But Savage can't break it in the middle of the ring, so he used the ropes for leverage to Flair. Savage eventually ended up getting powered out of it as Randy Anderson, the official, caught Flair using his ropes for leverage. In the end, Savage with a double axe handle off the top, then calls for the finishing elbow drop. Jimmy Hart gets on the apron, and then Flair rakes the eyes of Macho Man, who was distracted by Jimmy Hart. Then Arn has brass knucks, and he hit Flair instead of Savage as Savage ducked. So Flair goes down and hit with the brass knucks. Hogan attacks Flair Hogan attacks Arn Anderson on the outside. Flair's down. Savage goes for the finishing elbow and pins him. Savage is the second-time world champion at 8:35 after Arn Anderson hit Flair with the knucks accidentally. It was a basic match, but it got the world title back on the Macho Man Randy Savage for a second time. New world champion. 2.5 stars I rated the match. On the mic, Macho Man says to Hogan, who's celebrating in the ring with him, he says, "Look, brother, you're celebrating the match like you won it. I'm the world champion and you're clowning around the ring. Don't embarrass yourself." That's what he said. And it's true. Hogan always celebrates like he's won the world title when Macho Man does, because he knows, okay, I'm ahead of Macho Man. I'm going to get a shot. Macho Man just called him out on it straight up. And then Hogan says, "Look, brother, I want a world title shot." That's a Savage voice. Sorry, I can't really do Hogan right now. "Look, brother, I want a world title shot, dude." And Savage comes back and says, "I'm not Nick Buckwinkle, Hogan. I'm not Nick Buckwinkle. I can't make the match. I'm not the booking committee." And Hogan says, "You're right, dude, but I want a world title shot after I beat the gang." Savage says, "Let's do it at Caesar's Palace. Yeah. Hogan says, "Ooh, yeah." Sorry for all the imitations. I'm drinking some coffee here. which is what apparently Savage and Warrior used to do before their promos. So caffeine, it's a wonderful thing. Anyway, good interview segment by Macho Man and Hogan. Brian Pillman takes on Dean Malenko next. Dean Malenko with a standing switch, armbar to the face, elbow to the face. Pillman's vicious, and Malenko with the top rope head scissors. A bunch of moves happened in this match. I didn't do play-by-play all together, but I did write down what happened. Pillman takes a walk as Malenko gets him to the outside. Malenko tries to take a sneak shot at Pillman, but he suplexes Malenko and gets a 2. Pillman slaps Malenko, and then Malenko speared him down, taking rights and lefts. As you know, you can't slap Dean Malenko and not just get away with it like that, even if you're a horseman like Pillman is. Malenko with a tiger bomb and then a pitting combination. Pillman kicked out. Baseball slide by Malenko. Pillman grabbed him with the top and then headbutts Malenko to the mat. An arm breaker. Malenko off the ropes. Hit a fireman's carry takeover into a kick to the solar plexus. Malenko in the end with a drop toe hold and an ankle lock sitting by Malenko. Pillman gets the 3 even though his foot was on the ropes as he curled him up and held on to the tights. At 6:20, the Young Horseman wins by cheating. I gave the match 2 stars and a quarter between Pillman and Malenko as Pillman gets the victory. Next up, Sting and Lex Luger take on the Harlem Heat for the Tag Team Championship. The World title had already changed hands. Will the tag titles change hands? Harlem Heat are the champions. Sting and Luger are the challengers. But remember, Luger's on the bad side. Sting's on the good side. It's just Sting's friends with Luger, so he's putting up with it. So that's important story to go into the match knowing. Harlem Heat with no Sherry. They told her to take a hike, apparently, says Bischoff. So no more Sister Sherry with Harlem Heat. This is more of a brawl. Harlem Heat controlled the pace with it. Sting hit a stinger splash and a scissors kick by Booker T as Ray distracted the official. Before the stinger splash, I should say. The stinger splash was afterwards when the official wasn't distracted. Stevie Ray hit with an armbar by Sting and then charged into the corner with a boot by Booker T. Drives his face into the mat afterwards. Stevie Ray does to Sting. Harlem Heat double teaming Sting, who needs a hot tag to Luger, but Sting finds momentum out of nowhere to shake it off. Harlem Heat sized him up, and Ray with a trapezius hold. This trapezius hold by Stevie Ray to Sting was held for a few minutes, and Luger's just waiting for a hot tag. They go for the Harlem Hangover, but Sting moves out of the way just in time and gives the tag to Lex. Lex comes in, and the fans go crazy. Booker T and Sting go for a crossbody, but then Jimmy Hart comes on the apron and gives Lex Luger something in his hands. Lex has something in his hands, and he goes to hit Stevie Ray and connects. So Sting then hits a stinger splash, and Sting and Luger are the new tag team champions. Sting didn't see Lex hit the brass knuckles to the Harlem Heat, so Sting doesn't know they won by cheating, but Luger says, yeah, we did it, and Sting goes, finally. So Sting has no idea that Luger did the thing what he did to him last week, and Sting doesn't know that Luger helped him cheat this week. So Luger's still doing a heel tweener role, while Sting is just ignorant of all of it. He's just ignoring all the bad things that Luger's doing. But they're the new tag team champions on the same night that Hogan won the title, or Savage won the title. So 2 stars for that match. I said Hogan won the title because Hogan's up next on my notes here. Hogan took on the one-man gang in the main event. It was Savage that won the world title and Sting and Luger who won the tag titles from Harlem Heat. Savage beat Flair earlier in the night. Hulk Hogan takes on the one-man gang, and Hogan says after the gang he wants Savage for the title. The one-man gang tried to brawl with the Hulkster. Hogan stands up on the outside with basic brawling. Hogan chewed Gang's face, and he was blind, throwing rights and lefts. Hogan then with an Irish whip and hit the deck hard. The one-man gang came off with a body splash. He was the United States champion at the time. Hulk sent Gang in for a big boot and then signals for a body slam and hits it, then hits the leg drop and wins at 3:03. I rated that 3/4 of a star. Zodiac then comes out with the Horseman to the ring. Savage evens the odds. And now the Dungeon of Doom's on the outside, as is the Horseman. Savage and Flair build to Clash of the Champions, which happens the next night after this. Bischoff says you don't want to miss tomorrow night. New world champion, new tag team champions. Savage and Hogan cut a promo the same way they started, talking about how the Dungeon of Doom's going to be on the outside, how Miss Elizabeth's coming back. Kevin Green is going to be there, and Hogan and Savage are both on the same side, and they give a ooh yeah. So last week I gave Nitro a 7.5 out of 10. This week I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was a good show. It just drew a 2.7 to Raw's 2.9. So that's week 19 of the Monday Night Wars for the WCW side. Stay tuned for next week for week 20, and stay tuned for the WWF Raw review on this side. I always post them together so you can see. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.